Hello everybody, Dren608 here. I am going to be doing a quick series of videos to go with the early release of Xenonauts2, Early Access. That will be coming up on Steam on July 18th, which is only a day or two away. I will try to get these up with that. This is going to be, I'm going to go sort of an everyman route. I'm going to play on the soldier difficulty. If you're new to the game, you definitely want to go to recruit. It will give you more money and better stats and things. I will be showing you the soldier, which is sort of the baseline game. You come up with this screen here. A lot of things here are customizable. So if you want to go to a custom thing, all you have to do is change something here. Say you want your soldiers that get hit more, have a better chance of survival, and you see it changes to custom. So now you've changed things. You can change the number of enemies you're going to have. You can change the monthly funding. You can change the starting panic level of the world. You can change your starting money. So you can customize this. You can turn off some of these things like armor destroyed on death. Can make it harder if you do that, because it means if you have advanced armor and the guy dies and you don't recover him, you're going to have to rebuild the armor and things like that. So there's lots of different things that you can do. Okay. So we'll just go with Soldier here. I'm not going to do Iron Man. I am going to play the introduction. Those of you, even if you've played Xenonauts 1 before, you want to actually do the introduction because it's going to show you some things that you may have forgotten. It's going to show you a couple of new things that you don't know that you have. And so it is very helpful. Alright? This is, I think this is going to be the early release version. I can't remember if he said it was going to be this one or the version before this. So we're going to show you this one. This is the... I've been in the development cycle since doing the... since it went into Kickstarter. I was one of the backers. I backed at a level so that I can actually show you something else here. So if you begin the campaign, we just click the button. And it's going to go into...
The year is 2009. The world teeters on the brink of nuclear war. Tensions between capitalist and communist nations are at boiling point. Every opportunity for peace has failed, as if an invisible hand inexorably steers humanity towards annihilation. We Xenonauts know the truth. The dark forces poisoning our politics are not human in origin, and we must protect our planet against this extraterrestrial threat however we can. After years spent gathering information on an enemy that few believe exist, we are finally ready to strike back. The war for our future begins now.
Nice little cinematic. I hope that that makes it into the early release. So now it's going to take us into sort of a starting situation. This is going to be the tutorial. It's going to show you some things that how some of the controls work. I'm going to take this somewhat from an everyman type point of view, not those of you that are very familiar with Xenonauts and XCOM games. You probably will find this relatively not useful. I'm going to try and go over a lot of the basic things that are in Xenonauts 2 to try and help people that are trying to mess with, going to try it out for the first time kind of thing. So you can see here, Xenonauts 2, you control a secret organization attempting to protect the world from alien invasion. This short tutorial, boy, that's, the music can get a little overwhelming. Short tutorial will explain the basic controls and events leading up to the start of the campaign. So this is not really going to affect your campaign other than give you an idea of how things work. One of the things that they've added is nested tooltips. get further information where desired. Anywhere you see a text link, which is the highlighted text like here, you simply hover over the link to open additional tooltip, otherwise over the white link text to proceed. So you go here, and you see there's a little dotted line up in the upper. Nested tooltips in themselves contain links to spawn further nested tooltips. However, as tooltips disappear when you move over your mouse, you must lock them in place before you can do this. To lock it, tooltip in place by the middle mouse button, or simply by waiting 3 seconds, the progress circle in the top right, which you saw flash up there. Lock this tooltip to open this link, so it's locked, and then you go to this one. You see the little circle up there? And now you're up to the third tooltip. And then it's just going to let you proceed. Didn't really tell you anything, just showing you how that works. That is very nice. We didn't used to have that, so that helps a lot in a lot of the things. And now we get our chief scientist. So he's saying we should range our range. This is our operations director. Okay, my concern. This guy is a real jerk, but he's also a genius, so. Very inspirational. So what's the plan now? We wait. Commander is technically you, although they have a fixed portrait. One of the suggestions I'm going to make is they have a male portrait and a female portrait, so that if you female game players out there join this, you won't be a quote male commander, that they'll have a female commander instead. Portrait-wise, anyway. Blue circle around your base indicates the radar range of the facility. UFOs flying in this area will be detected and can then be attacked using interceptor aircraft. This buttons up here control time. This is the same as in Xenonauts2. You get 100 minutes for each one real world second with this one. This one is 20 minutes. 100 minutes for each second. 20 minutes for each second. 5 minutes for each second. And this is 5 seconds for each second of the game. So see there, watch when I hit this, you see that just starts spinning along and you get to see the day-night cycle. Now things are going to pop up here. Geoscape anomalies, hostile action is taking place in raise the local panic. You'll see the numbers down here went up a point in North America and the Soviet Union. You will notice that it is the Soviet Union. It is not modern day world. Somehow the Cold War did not end. We are in an alternate timeline history, so time-space continuum is different here. There were some discussions about how names should be changed to represent the local spellings and things. I feel like it should remain the way it would have been if the Cold War was still on. Those names would not have gotten changed on world maps and things. So it tells you here, these actually give you some information about what's going on in the world, so it's worthwhile to read them. You can interact with them. They indicate a possibly hidden problem in the affected regions. Something's going on in the Soviet Union, something's going on in North America. At the start of the game, these are usually caused by cleaner activity. However, UFOs will also generate anomalies as they fly around the map. So it can give you a hint of, if you see like a string of them, like along the northern Arctic coast or something, you'll see a string of these little diamonds popping up. It probably means there's a UFO flying around up there, and you should be getting ready to intercept it. Okay? We go on, and we should get here. So we get a UFO detected. It tells us the size, whether it's escorted, what its relative speed is, what its altitude is, and which way it's going. Okay? You can go slow time and center on the UFO. If you're not really sure who you should send after it, you can click on this and then you can pause, you can go into your base and check out your airplanes and all that kind of stuff. In the tutorial, they're just going to say we need to go do it. Okay, so shooting it down from causing panic, a local region may spawn UFO crash site, allows you to recover valuable technology. Click on the launch interceptors to get your fighters ready for action. You will start with 2 interceptors, Angel 1 and Angel 2. They will have missiles on them and ammo. I'm not sure. Yeah, you can't actually change the ammo in this screen, but it tells you what target they're planning to hit and how many. You can have up to 3 aircraft, so if you can get a 3rd fighter, you can go after them with a flight of 3. A flight of 3 is not from a military. I studied military history in college. I've been playing games like this for a very long time. No, you would not send 3 aircraft after someone. You would send 4 or 2, because everybody should have a wingman. Having 3 aircraft go after someone is not really a sound formation per se. But anyway, we're just going to go ahead and launch it because this is the tutorial. And then you intercept him right away, and he's a scout. And now you can, if you click over here, you can go fight the battle. Okay. If they happen to be over ocean, you can always use this button to try and wait until they get over land, so you have a chance to get their to get to a wreck if you shoot them down. And the other thing you can do is you can tail them. Okay, and if like you think that they're heading towards a base or someplace you want to find out about, you can just have an airplane try and follow them and see what happens. There are certain situations where you might want to do this. So just try and get an idea of where it's headed and stuff like that. The most common one is tail over land, and now it sits here in the final game. The tutorial will explain the basics of air combat. That part of the game is currently relatively unpolished and will simply auto-resolve the battle. It's very much like if you played Xenonauts2, it's still very much like that, and it needs quite a bit of work to match up to the rest of the Xenonauts2. So they're going to be working on that during early access to give us some better air combat, better feel for what's going on. We're going to do the auto-resolve like it tells us to do. And what it does is, the auto-resolve says this is what the result will be based on us playing out a mini game of the aerial combat. If you don't like it, you can say, no, let me see if I can't do better. Okay? You can discard the auto-resolve and try to fight it better yourself. We're going to go ahead and accept because it tells us to. And then it forced a crash site. So here we go. It tells you what you're going to, which is a crashed UFO. Gives you the biome, desert, and the time remaining is persistent. So it's going to be there for a while. In the real game, things are usually not persistent. You know, they're only there for 3 days or 5 days or something, and so you do need to get yourself on the road to going after them. So this has us go launch the combat team. This is our Skyhawk. We've got 9 people in there. Launch the aircraft. And these are our soldiers that are in here. We don't have any extras because this is the tutorial. You can actually swap these people out, change their armor and weapons they have and things like that. But we're just going to launch this because the tutorial is going to have us do things. As soon as we get ready to launch, that sounds ominous. We hear the sirens. It is. Every cleaner cell in the region is deploying tactical teams. No prizes for guessing where they're headed. Time for us to leave. Just when my research efforts need it. So recall your soldiers, commanders. They're going to be back here. We need to hold the perimeter until everyone can get away. Indeed. Try not to get killed. You seem less mediocre than your predecessor. Good luck, Commander. We're counting on you. Okay. So now we're going to go into tactical combat tutorial. This is the one that there might be some things that you either don't remember from playing Xenonauts 1 or things that we never had in Xenonauts 1, which are nice bits. It does take a little bit to load, because it's loading up the whole tactical map and where the aliens start and plotting their waypoints if they're on patrol and things like that. Notice that the music changed. Now they're going to go into here. Control in several ways. You move the mouse to the edge of the screen in the direction, or press the WSAD key. So you can do this. So that's nice. You can also rotate it using Q and E. So you can actually rotate it. I have, by the way, I have my game set to 30 degrees. It defaults to 45. I think 30 degrees is a little better. You have a little finer control over how much you can turn. Okay? And then you can change the height level by using the mouse scroll wheel. All right. So now we're going to proceed. We each have time units, which is the way most of these games work. Xenonauts and XCOM both kind of share that idea of time units. So now we're going to do things. Green bar, this gives you a sort of a graphical idea of how much he has left, and this is the actual number. Okay? And it costs points to do everything. Okay? So, and it sits here and tells you units will automatically spend any retirement units on Overwatch fire during the alien turn if suitable opportunity arises. So if you save some time, and then up here it tells you how much time it takes you to shoot. So like in this case, with this particular corporal, we would want to save at least 14 points if we could to get us... and you notice when I hover over it, if I take that shot, my total points went down. So it tells me how many I'll have left after I do that. Okay? That's kind of neat. So, 60 time units available, and they're going to tell you specific things to do. Here they go. Form up and hold the loading bay. So you're going to move this guy to here. And it shows you how many points it took to get there. Okay? And you left click again, I should get there with 40 left. Or 20 left, rather. Okay? Now moving them by right-clicking anywhere on the battlefield. So, like this, shifts 45 degrees and takes a point. Now you can have them crouch to make them harder to hit. That costs 4 points. So he's down, and he still actually has the ability to do a snapshot if the opportunity arises. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and hit end turn. Normally you would have like 9 soldiers or more, depending on what you're dealing with. And they just kind of move all the soldiers in for you. And then all the bad guys come out. These are cleaners. You see that they all have little... Now I'm playing on the difficulty part that tells me what kind of armor they have. Alright? So it shows me how much health and armor they have of each. So now it's going to show us how to attack. Okay? So click on the enemies. You see that it takes 28 points because he's going to use his best single shot. And I have an 85% hit chance. So if I click on him, boom. And that's very similar. Now he still has enough time to take another shot, so he's going to take a second shot. And that's what this is telling you to do. And the 2 shots takes him down. The enemy soldier does not have time to perform any further attacks. You select the next soldier. Press the space bar to mark him inactive and automatically select the next closest active soldier. So that's a difference. It used to not go to the next closest. It would just kind of go around in an order of people up there, and you would bounce around the battlefield. So that's helpful. Now this guy is going to try and shoot here. You see the squares down with the shooter represent the shot path. Green where the weapon is within range, but the path turns orange where the weapon is firing beyond its maximum range. They have a lower chance to hit and inflict reduced damage when attacking beyond maximum range. So see, I'm at 42% here. So I go ahead and shoot. And miss, but because I have reduced. So we're going to press to the next active soldier. And then they're going to show you how to move, because shotguns are close range. They're going to have you move here. Notice how they jumped over the fence rather than going around it. And then you can shoot here. You have an 81% chance. And you're going to do 3 shots because that's how shotguns fire. Now they tell you that's the most expensive is defaulted. If you right click, you go down 1. And then you can attack, and this will let you attack twice. They still missed, but they get a second attack, which hits. So first one completely missed, second one hit all 3 shots. I took them down. Okay. Now we go to the next soldier. So you can see that the guy in the back is trying to shoot here, but he's having to shoot through really high intervening cover. Let me turn the map so you can see that. See that? Where it's red highlighted, it tells it's reducing your chance to hit by 60%, which is ouch. Now, if we click on this soldier instead, we can do a free fire mode, which was in the original game as well. We have an 84% chance of shooting these boxes, so we're going to try and do that. And they basically shot all the boxes apart. Now we can go back to this guy, and now we have an 81% chance. And we hit. Grenades can do damage and removing cover in the area. Click on the button and demolition charge is selected as the active weapon. So this guy here, normally he would be using a heavy machine gun. He's going to throw this demolition charge right here. Did a little bit of damage to him, and then he also took out their cover, so they don't have cover. Now, he doesn't have enough time units to fire this effectively, but he can shoot his pistol. So if you click on the pistol, he now can shoot this guy here. And then he can actually try to shoot here. He doesn't have as good a chance, but the tutorial is nice and actually has you shoot him down. And now we get the next active soldier. This one, again, is somebody with a shotgun. This is one of the things that's not in the original game, is you can click here to do a move, and if you hold the shift key and go here, it shows you what will happen if you move there and shoot. And then you click, you'll move up and shoot immediately. That was not in the original game, and that is a very nice little feature. Okay? Now things are going to get a little bit dicey because we've done all of our turns. A whole bunch more of them show up. There's like 8 of them. There's too many of them. Fall back to the next one. So we're going to try and retreat now. Now they're going to show you what Overwatch fire is by the enemy getting to do Overwatch. We're going to move this guy to here, trying to get him behind cover. Poor Alex is not going to make it. So they show you there's enough time units remaining and fire its weapon may perform Overwatch fire during the enemy turn. Suppressing the enemy will prevent Overwatch fire, and flashbangs are a good way to generate suppression. So we're going to select the flashbang from this one. We're going to throw it right there in the middle of all 3 of those guys. And now they're all suppressed. So suppression takes out all of their remaining time units, so they can't shoot any guns. And they only recover half their time units in their following turn. So they won't be as effective in their following turn. The other thing we can do is we can throw smoke, which is something people don't remember to do very often. Because it will make them harder to shoot you through smoke squares. Now And you do take a little bit of stun damage, but the idea is they can't hit you as well. And now you just have this guy move back here, which you actually won't make that move because you'll stop right there. You get regrouped the next position. We need to hold them off until the evacuation is complete, and that will be the end of the tutorial. Okay? Now it says you are ready to take on the alien invaders in a full campaign. No, you aren't, because there's a lot more that you have to deal with. But we're going to go to the next screen, and then we're going to put in a cut, because the next screen, when you get out of the tutorial, this is how you would normally start the campaign, is in this next screen if you don't do the tutorial. They show all the guys running away. Yes, we all get away. Yay. The mission complete. You won't get any rewards or anything for that because it was a tutorial mission. You also don't get any minuses. You don't start off with like one dead soldier in your group or anything like that. Commander. Good of you to finally make an appearance. The delay, this place isn't exactly easy to find. I believe that's rather the point. Commander, glad to see you made it. Welcome to our backup facility. Obviously, if we were talking about something as big as Larian Studios or somebody like that, a lot of this could be voice acted, but we aren't dealing with a really big company, so we're going to deal with the old 60s typing up all of our command room and a cache of some emergency supplies installed a while back. Oh, it's a derelict nuclear bunker full of 60s era junk. Oh. Hope you're fine with cold showers, cold food, and well, cold everything. You don't last long in the military if you're not. This is where I would like. I would have liked to have seen them have more than just a male commander of Xenonauts. It would be nice if there was a choice of portraits for him to be either male or female. It would be nice to attract our female players a little bit more to have the option there. So we continue on. So status, targeting cleaners. Bought us some time, but they're still after us. If we don't find a way to eliminate them soon, they'll find us and start attacking here too. But they're not even our biggest problem. Indeed. Studies suggest once estimated mass is factored in, extraterrestrial activity appears to follow a mathematically predictable pattern. More precisely, exponential growth. And those of you that know what he's talking about will go, oh no. And we're nearing the end of the curve. In plain English. UFOs arriving in our skies will soon begin to increase rapidly in size and or quantity. I doubt it will be long until the aliens launch a full-blown invasion. I don't like the sound of that. How long do we have? Weeks? A couple of months at most? I suggest you make the most of it. Okay, so this is where you would, if you did not do the tutorial, you would have started with that exchange there, and you would place your starting base. This is where a lot of people will make a mistake and just drop it like in the middle of a continent. What you want to do is, those three bands are the three areas of radar coverage you're going to get. The inner circle is where you're going to start. The next one is the next advance, technological advance up. And the last one is the farthest you'll ever get your base to do. So if you did it like in North America, like if you just dropped it up here, you'd barely cover any of Latin America and, maybe all of North America. You can do the same thing with South America, Africa, Asia somewhere, trying to cover as much of Asia as you could, and you could drop it in the middle of the Soviet Union. I personally, and this is from an everyman standpoint, I usually go and put it on Crete. And I'll show you why once I do that. Let's call that the Gran 608 Crete. So I know where it is on the map. All right. Then you get an invasion analysis. And so I'm officially handing over control of our organization to you. It'll still be here running day-to-day operations, but right now we need someone with military experience in charge. So she's giving up her covert part to hand him. Quick primer on what you need to know. This is good for you that have never played this game and don't know how things work and where things stand. A lot of us that have played it before will just ignore this. But we're in surprisingly good shape given recent events. We got a helicopter away with all our civilian staff, chief scientists included, although naturally he spent the entire time complaining. We rescued his lab assistants instead of his research notes. Please resist the temptation to cause him bodily harm. He will be making very snide, ridiculous remarks to you. The only thing worse than having him in charge of research division would be not having him in charge of research division. The man is quite literally a genius and absolutely essential to the work. Best chance of getting him to shut up would be to start recovering the research samples and specimens he wants, i.e. find some aliens, kill them, take their stuff, but I'll let you figure out the specifics for that particular topic. Eventual goal is to learn enough about the extraterrestrials to work out how to defeat them, but reverse engineering their technology might help the odds in the meantime. There'd be poetic justice using their own weapons against them, which is very XCOM-y, Xenonauts, this type of game. That's what you do. You take their stuff, you figure out how it works, you turn it into something humans can work, and then you blow them up with their own weapons. That's pretty much standard fare for these kinds of games. I'll take care of the political situation, provided you keep global panic to a reasonable level. My agents can't operate if a region gets too paranoid, which means no funding and alien influence goes unopposed. Lose too many and I won't be able to stop tension spilling over into nuclear war. Best get started, huh? There's coffee in the pot. But I don't drink coffee. I like my caffeine cold. So you get this, and you'll start off with, you need to sign a research project. There's only one available, which is combat vehicles. Build this. Don't wait for something else to come along. Go ahead and get that done. Getting that combat vehicle will be essential in a couple of the early missions. Okay. Now in here you can look at your base, and we will stop here. Put in a cut here. We'll come back to the early days. Will be the next video, where we'll show you maybe the first up to maybe the first mission, and then we'll fast forward to the next mission. So I will do like the first month's worth of missions so that you can see what it looks like, and try and show you all the features that are available in here. I will have a discussion about base building and how they started off your base, and my problems with their concept of base building. No sane person would build a base this way. And then we will go on from there. I will probably concentrate on the main base for this first month, just to give you an idea of how the game plays. I will be putting out another video where it's like the two bases early strategy, where we kind of throw our money in a different direction and try and get everything done still. Okay? So there'll be a few videos here about early access, and with the early access gameplay, hopefully it will pique your interest, that you'll go ahead and purchase it and support Goldhawk Studios to make a really expanded game when it's done. I think we said I can't remember what he said in his announcement to all of us developers. I think we're going to be at like 60% of the game will be playable right away. Maybe it's up to 70%. But he's already talking about expanding the storyline and changing the timelines for things to give us more time to play the game. Some of us that have been playing for a while, we're getting up to his endpoint type thing way faster than he thought we would, and so he's like, maybe I need to throw in another chapter. So the main developer is actually seriously considering adding a bunch more content, which we will need. It definitely doesn't have all the content it's supposed to have to begin with. Like, we're going to have air combat coming up. They're going to expand that and make that a much better thing. They're going to there's some tactical map things that aren't quite ready yet. They have a few more, they call them biomes, different kind of terrain sets that are going to come up. And I'm not sure that we have all of the UFO floor plans out there yet. I think some of the bigger ones might not be out there in the early access. But there's a whole bunch more of that kind of stuff coming. There's more research tree things that'll be coming down the end. And a lot of things that have been done here are, they've really upped the art, even though it's still, it's not cinematics or whatever, but they have upped the art and the portraits. The research text is much more interesting in that they give you a whole lot of sort of semi-scientific stuff from our research dude here. You get a sort of a big long explanation, but like right at the very top, they'll give you the idea of this alien does this kind of stuff, and then he goes through a whole thing about how he thinks they've developed and how they got there and all that kind of stuff, which is, it's interesting to get yourself immersed. You'll see when we get our first alien what I mean when all things are sort of really expanded out. But until we get there, we're going to stop here. I will come back at this point, okay? Next time I will go over base. As a matter of fact, why don't we just have the base screen up? We'll have the base screen up when I come up. And I will talk about base building here in the next video fairly extensively. And I might try and get us to our first mission, first tactical mission. I will go over some of the tactical builds and things. And stuff like that. So we'll come back to this in a little bit. I will have another video out shortly. These will be probably releasing on the day of early release, so hopefully you will see them and it will trip you into going ahead and giving this a try. I think it's a very good system. It's very well thought out, and it plays like you would expect it to play. You're not going to have a walkover. You're going to have casualties from your soldiers. I don't think it's possible to play the game without taking a casualty, because early on you have like no armor, and there's a couple of timed missions where you don't have time to take cover and slowly but surely work your way across the battlefield. There are a couple of missions where if you don't have yourself basically done by turn 6, the aliens are going to give you a world of hurt, because they're going to start dropping like 5 or 6 reinforcements a turn thereafter. So you will get overwhelmed. You will run out of ammo. You will not make it back to your ship. So you'll see those missions as we go through this. Okay? So like I said, I'm going to take the everyman approach, people who have not played the game or who haven't played the game in ages. That's how I'm going to approach this video series, and we're going to try and get you through probably the first month of the whole thing. Maybe 3 or 4 more things. Next time we're going to talk about base building and some of the problems I have with what they designed here. But be that as it may, that's up to you to decide how you want to deal with true base building. All right? Anyway, if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up button. You really like to see, go and subscribe, hit the notify bell, be notified, upload videos, and reschedule streams. I'm John608. Until we meet again, stay safe, and bye-bye.